Alright, so I'm going back to my old art fag content because a couple of days ago I got cyberbullied within an inch of my life because I tried to post about that pommel horse guy with the Omarosa voiceover. Bro, I was just pissed because when I was on Facebook, sorry, I still have to use it. It's like my LinkedIn. And I hate LinkedIn, but I was using Facebook, and like every thing was about him, like every post, and it was not the people that I followed. It was like ads. So I was just like not in the mood to celebrate mediocrity. Anyway, so welcome back to my black box. I needed to find a couple of programs to kind of find some avenues for queer art, and kind of track some of the places that have survived and that are still thriving or striving. But I also wanted to just go through the history and the archive and pick out my favorites and kind of do a little homage to how they have affected me and inspired me to do what it is that I keep doing despite all the madness that is entailed in pursuing a career in the arts. So I had to separate everything into piles. I did off-Broadway, gallery stuff, film and dance separate, festival stuff, and readings are separate. I go to a lot of readings, and then I had a little pile of things that I was actually involved with that I need to take out because I have a separate place where I put those, but they somehow made it into the fold. This was a really interesting show. It was put on by National Queer Theater, and they did it in a leather bar, and it was these little tiny pint-sized plays. Get it? Because you're drinking pints at the leather bar. It was great. It was at the Eagle, and everything was really good, and like just the atmosphere. But I'm like a fan of immersive, site-specific stuff, and all of these pieces kind of fit into that environment, and you kind of felt like you were just like, it's like dinner theater, but with like half-naked men and beer and all of the things. Speaking of half-naked men, funny fact, the first Broadway show I saw was Rosie Perez in the Ritz, and it was at Studio 54. So I'm kind of a newbie when it comes to like the Broadway baby stuff. I'm more of an off-Broadway girl. The Red Shoes definitely has been a part of my canon obsession for a long time because of the film. But there was this production where they had this really obnoxious like $1 million prop at the end of this actual show that was like the train that like hits the ballerina at the end when she is possessed by the shoes. Anyway, it was really cheesy and the whole audience groaned, but besides that, it was a really good show. It was the same choreographer who did the male version of Swan Lake. I'm really horrible with names. This was a good one too. Vineyard doing a little documentary theater. They actually had like this recording of this woman who was going through some stuff, and they used the recording as like this voiceover, so all the actors were lip syncing on stage. They've used that device again recently. Yeah, that Bar Dykes didn't make it because people were complaining about the D word, even though I think that's okay. So this is a pile of Broadway stuff that, wasn't on the top of my list. This is off-Broadway stuff that didn't make it to the hippie top of my list, but I enjoyed. That's the queer theater that I had to put to side. Oh, God. So yeah, this is the levels of OCPD. So then I narrowed it down. I was trying to narrow it down to like my 20 top favorites. Maybe I'll do a little blurb or story time about each one of those shows individually. For now, I'm just kind of doing it for myself to kind of keep me going. This was one of the first shows I saw when we reopened. It was at the Shed. was an online version during the pandemic that I enjoyed a little bit better than that, but it had a very high production quality, as you do. What else we got in here? So I was just breaking it down into different piles again, and then taking out my favorites. Again, that's the queer stuff that I wanted to take a look at. I'm probably going to go through my archive and try to find some in-house photos as well. And then in the next video, I'll start to go through which ones made the top 20. And maybe I'll talk a little bit about them and why I love them, etc.